Oh, we're back from Thanksgiving and time to get back on the trailer. Got a couple things I want to address pretty quick. On the outside, we had some corrosion from when we had the really heavy rain at MacGyver. It got on here and ate the paint off. I need to fix that so it doesn't rust. And even though I have the toolbox mounted, I'm not happy with it. It just has too much wiggle to it. So I think I'm going to work on actually building some better supports for it to sit on to hold it firmer. It's a little chilly, but I think I need to get that done so that outside we're ready to go. And then inside, it's so nice having electric in here. But inside, the primary goal right now is to start working on the cabinets, but I think just before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit more work on my electrical system. I have a breaker to go in between the batteries and my 12-volt fuse block. That's just a little extra protection, extra safety. So I'm going to install that. And I have my inverter. I want to get my inverter wired up and installed as well, so that it's also ready to go. And I've ordered a lithium battery charger, a 45 amp battery charger that is also going to be mounted and wired into the system. It's en route, hasn't showed up yet, but it's coming. So I want to do a little bit with the wiring first, get some of that lined out, but then it is full steam ahead on getting the cabinets worked on. I've been working on walls, as you can kind of see here. I have some pencil marks on the floor. That is where the bathroom wall is going to be. And I've done a preliminary drawing, sitting here in the bottom of the shower right now, of how the pantry / wardrobe cabinet is going to go together. And I'm going to start with this bathroom wall, get it figured out, lined out, then we can start going from there. But we'll work on that wall first because it's floor to ceiling wall. The other one's got some cubbies and stuff I'm going to build in it. It's not going to be all one piece, but it's nice having electric and heat and lights in here for working. So we'll get to it. Well, we're working on reinstalling the box today. I built 2 support bars. You can kind of see them underneath there. I'm going to work on getting everything bolted down and secure, and we'll go from there. Got it mounted. The 2 bars are installed. It is so much more steady than what it was before. I also added 2 more bolts to this forward bar so they go through and help support. This is into the frame, good and solid. I'm gonna get the shop vac and vacuum this out, but then it's ready to put stuff in it. Got the box mounted up in the last episode. Now got it filled with the proper things so we can hook up water, which I don't have plumbed yet. Hook up electrical, which is working. Got our propane in there, so that's good to go. It is really stabilized with the support arms that I made for it. Today I've got the trim pieces, the RV trim pieces. I also have the rubber that goes inside it. It's inside though, and I'm going to use that around the edge of this trim so that I don't have this flapping, and that it's well sealed and enclosed like it should be. So I think that's what we're going to work on today. All right, we got the trim done. Goes all the way from the bottom here. It really stiffens the sides up just like I wanted. Gives a nice, good, clean appearance to it. I had a little bit of a ripple here. It straightened that ripple out so I don't have the ripple. It looks really good. I like it. I would say I am 99.9% done with the outside. I may do a few things here and there, but that means tomorrow we can go inside where I have a heater and lights and start working on some more electricity. Well, I think I've got the outside pretty much wrapped up. Getting that trim around the rock guard really helped out a lot. Now I think it's back inside, and I think before we start on cabinets, I'm going to do some electronics. I've got a resettable breaker that I bought that is going to go in here, and then I'm going to bring the power from the main lug to here first and then to the 12 volt fuse block. And then I also got the 45 amp battery charger. It's going to be going in, and the 2000 watt inverter is also going to be going in. So we're going to start working on that, getting that wiring taken care of, and get this all figured out, and start moving forward. Because I think once I have that done, I've got my other batteries, so I have all 3 batteries for the battery bank, having the 45 watt charger for it, or 45 amp charger, excuse me, for it, ready to go when we're boondocking until I get my solar up and operational. And when I do have that and we have cloudy days, I'll be able to plug in my generator, run my generator, and charge the batteries up with that. I was amazed at how fast individually that would charge up the lithium batteries. Before all I had was a 4 amp basically trickle charger. It was a lithium charger, but it was only 4 amp and it didn't do much. So now with the 45 amp, even with 3 batteries, it'll be doing 15 amps per battery according to the manufacturer. So we should be good there. But then once I get that wrapped up, I think electronic wise, until I get some cabinets built and I'm putting in the final switches, I think I'm got that to a point where it can just stay usable, stay there, and then we will work on the rest. And then when I get it, the solar charge controller will go right there. I'm looking at a red arc system that I can also attach the power coming from the 7-pin as well. And so that's what that spot's for, but we'll get to work and get this stuff mounted. Not sure if you can see, but it's dark outside. Time to call it a day. Been working in here, went to the hardware store for stuff I needed, grabbed some stuff. Silly me, I thought that I could trust the tag, and grabbed a bag of connectors, and they're for the wrong gauge. Someone put a package in the wrong spot. So I'm gonna have to go back tomorrow and get some different connectors. The inverter and the charger are mounted. I got the resettable breaker in place going to the main fuse panel for the 12 volt system. I've got all of my battery to battery cables made for all 3 batteries, which we do own now. So on our next trip, we should have triple batteries in here, which should be really nice. So things are coming together. I just need to go to the hardware store tomorrow and return the wrong connectors, get the right ones, and then get this stuff wired up. Hopefully tomorrow I can get the wiring done so I can turn to on the cabinets, because we need some cabinets in here. And I'm a little nervous doing it because I'm not a cabinet maker, but we're gonna tackle it and hope for the best. Well, there wasn't a whole lot you could see as I had disconnected the battery and was working in the dark with a headlamp, but I do have the wiring put together. The inverter is now wired into both of the bus bars. I've got its remote on-off switch wired in, and what I'll do is I'll have an extension cord in there temporary until I can get my 2 switches. So what I bought for switches is this. And what I intend on doing with these is mounting them on the back of the fuse panel here, or the breaker panel. And they've got a plug-in on one side. I'll plug them into the back of the inverter. Then they have wires on this side that will be fed into the box to the breaker. And then they have wires coming out the other side so I can run them on either shore power or the inverter. I have two of those. Those will be wired for the plug-in on the end of the dinette table that's not built yet, and also to the microwave so that we have a working microwave. We purposely bought a microwave that only works on 900 watts so that we can use it with our inverter just for, you know, heating up dinner, which you're just doing a couple of quick minute or twos. Sonja has what she calls her achy bakey face fixer. It's a pouch full of, I think it's corn, and she can heat that up for warming the feet of her bed before going to bed. But all that's going to be wired up so that we have that off of the inverter. I just haven't got that far yet. I've got the battery charger mounted and wired in. That's also up to our bus bar. I've got the 120 amp secondary protection for my 12 volt system. It's a resettable circuit breaker. This is our battery kill switch or shut off switch, and this will be for the solar when I get the solar installed. And of course that spot there's for the solar charge controller. But I think right now electrical is kind of as far as I'm going to get it at this stage until I start building cabinets and installing the permanent outlets in the bathroom, the outlet for the microwave. So all that is dependent on building cabinets. So I think the next main thing to do here is start to work on cabinets. So I'm excited and nervous all at the same time, but we're going to start over here. We'll get the bathroom wall built first, and then we'll start building the cabinets that are going to hold the cooler, some little cubbies for some bins that we have that'll be for clothing. We'll have a wardrobe and a pantry area, and in the pantry area there's going to be an area for Sonja's sewing, so she'll be able to bring her featherweight sewing machine and projects in a bin in the pantry area. That'll be the first main thing to build, and then I'll probably start building some cabinets for the bathroom for storage, and then of course build the bathroom wall and the bathroom door. But I think that's our next step, so we'll start working on that. Being the holidays, everything's on sale. So we got a RV mattress. We went with the Dream Foam Essentials. It's just a standard 6-inch queen mattress. We're going to unroll it and put our topper on it, and hopefully be good to go. All right, let's see here.
Should say RV mattress, not a sponsor.
Yes, not a sponsor yet.
How do you feel?
Well, I mean, it hasn't had time to completely expand, but it feels decent. Let me remove all this plastic and you can... I did all the measuring. I did all the measuring of weights with the old foam without any plastic. I know this doesn't weigh much, but this might be a couple pounds. This mattress by itself, well, with all this wrapped around it, was 18 pounds heavier than the foam I pulled out.
That's a lot of plastic.
This might be a couple of pounds, so. But now we got to give it some time to expand completely, but we have a real queen size mattress. Yay! What the heck noise was that? The new mattress seems to be pretty nice. Again, it's a RV mattress, Dream Foam Essential 6-inch foam pad. And we've already had this 3-inch memory foam topper that we've been using. In fact, we bought that when we had the mini light. We took it with us when we got the R-Pod, and now it's in this. So we have 9 inches of foam pad. Both of us have laid down on it. Seems super, super comfortable. The only thing I'm seeing is I have this designed to lift up to access my electrical and water, which of course the water system really is non-existent now. And it seems like every time I lift it up and then lower it down, it's pulling this vent fabric we bought slowly out each time we lift it up and put it down. So I'm gonna have to come up with a creative idea for that. Don't know what that is yet.
So I'm finally working again on my daughter's t-shirt quilt. So I have done interfacing. I'll try to find the number, but I did interfacing on the back so that I covered the area where the design of the t-shirt was going to be. And I did some talking with her, so we know kind of what we're looking at vaguely. This is a very vague process. I don't like vague things, so this is challenging for me. But I'd gotten interfacing on most of them. Now it's time to cut them out. I was really nervous about this. So I've never done a t-shirt quilt before. I've read a lot of blogs of people that have done t-shirt quilts, and it doesn't sound like it's everybody's favorite thing to do. So it's a little intimidating to cut these, since I know they're special to my daughter, and feel like if I screw it up, then I've ruined all of her memories. But I also know that they're not doing her any good just bundled into a box, sitting there rotting away slowly. So this way she'll have something beautiful that she can use, and it will remind her of happy times. So I need to get this cut. So I'm going to set this, sorry for the movement, I'm going to set this right over here. Hopefully you can see okay. So I have, I find the corners when I set this down. I find the corners of where my interfacing are, and I've marked those, oh, except for I marked the wrong spot there. I mark a little diagonal slash where the corners are of the interfacing, so I know the area that I have to trim. Some of them are definitely easier to see than others, so that's why I figured if I mark them, then I'm doing a pretty good job. I try to use the line on my rotary ruler to line up the wording or the design or whatever, so I have kind of a straight line to go off of. And then I just whack. And then turn it around. I'm not looking for any particular measurements. I'm just kind of doing pretty much as large as I can get, still be on the interfacing, and try to be reasonably, I don't know if centered's the right word, because most of these designs are not going to be centered, so centered-ish. And then once I get them cut, I bring them down here and I'm just sticking them on my design wall. See if I can do this one-handed with this long skinny one. There we go. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that once they're trimmed like that, they look way less ratty old t-shirt. And they just look like, oh, cool t-shirt, memorabilia. So that's kind of nice because a lot of these are very old, as you can see from some of the dates. In fact, I think all of them are very old. And they were well loved and well used, and so they have definitely been on the ratty side. They look so much better now that they're trimmed. Okay, that's where I'm at so far. Those are all the t-shirts that I already had interfaced and ready to go. There are just a couple more. Partly I didn't do those because I need to check with her again to make sure I've got the right spot. Oh, there goes that one. Right spot of the t-shirt, because like one of them has lots of signatures. I want to make sure I get signatures she cares about. And then we have things like baby blanket and a little quilt that I made for her. Part of this is I need to know how big I'm kind of looking, because like I know she wants part of the baby quilt. I don't know whether I need a little piece of it or lots of pieces of it. So my next step is to actually get out the backing of the quilt, and I need to measure it because obviously it can't get bigger than the backing. So that's my parameter that I need to do, and I don't remember how big it is. So next step, measure the backing. Welcome back. I am back to work on my daughter's t-shirt quilt. I had done the ones that I showed you already. I had those done, and then I'd run out of interfacing, and I had to buy more interfacing before I could continue. So I've gotten the interfacing. So what I've done now is I've just pulled the t-shirts out, kind of measured what size space I have that wants to be covered. We have aprons, we have t-shirts. Anyway, I've just kind of made a stack of them with the pieces I have cut out. So the next part will actually be getting these fused on. And then that might be, I have a little bit of a quilt, but since it's quilted, I don't think I need to fuse interfacing on that. So this may be the rest of what I need to actually get fused and then get trimmed. And then it's time to put it together. So making progress. And I don't know, have you ever made a t-shirt quilt? What do you think of them? Do you have any great tips for me? Because as I've mentioned, this is my first one. I've never done this before. Anyway, off to go fuse some stuff. So I'm back to work on my daughter's t-shirt quilt. And I thought I had everything except for one t-shirt that I have to fiddle with a little more cut out. And I was putting it up on my wall. I did find a couple other things that I had fused that hadn't cut out. They were put in a different pile. So I need to do those. And then also while I was working on some other stuff, a lot of them fell down because with the interfacing on the back, it's kind of slick and they're heavy enough. They just aren't sticking very well. So I'm going to move this out into the living room on the floor. I laid out the backing, and that will also give me a good idea as to how big I'm getting and make sure I don't get too big and make sure I'm big enough. So I'm going to move these out there. Here we go. This is the backing, nice and fuzzy, kind of minky fabric. And I'm just going to start laying stuff down and filling up the spots. Okay, so the good news on this is it looks like I'm going to have enough space that it's going to be just about the right size. I mean, this obviously is going to shrink down when I cut things actually together and put seam allowance with it. Okay, I've got these laid out. The nice thing is seeing that I should have, by the time I add a few other things, and you take into account these all being actually close together, seam allowance is shrinking it down. I'm thinking I'm going to be just about perfect size, which is fantastic. I was afraid I was going to have to do a lot of extra figuring out how to put things together. I do have to add some, I guess you'd call them coping strips, strips of fabric in between things to make them the same size, because nothing is cut a particular size or particular dimension. They're just cut as to what looks good on the t-shirt and what size I had for my interfacing. So I will have to figure that out, but I thought I want to get it laid out here first and see where I'm sitting size-wise, get my other couple things cut, and then I'll start trying to do it as far as like, where do I want the colors, what kind of sizes do I want together, how big a pieces, and actually get it laid out, and then I'll start figuring out how to actually put it together. But made a lot of progress. This is really cool to see. Hopefully my daughter will be happy. One of the bits going into Kimmy's t-shirt memory quilt is the quilt that I made for her, or pieces of the quilt that I made for her when she was a kid. That's the blue and white pinwheels. From a distance, the pattern's pretty. But when you look up close, everything is in bad shape. Stuff is disintegrating. It's been well loved, and it wasn't sewn very well in the first place, so it's in rough shape. But I'm trying to get a block. I had to search to find one that hasn't actually come apart, and I'm going to work on getting that ready to go into the quilt. So this is the one block I found that is in the best shape. It's still not perfect. You can see that the seam has come out there and here. It's hard to tell. This actually was white with little blue hearts on it. And this all used to be white. It's kind of a weird color now, but it's had years and years of use. It isn't dirty. I know it kind of looks like it is, but it is just old. And I'm afraid that it's just not going to hold up well putting it in the quilt. So what I'm going to do is I have some fusible fleece, and I'm going to fuse some fleece onto here. I'm going to then stitch over some of these lines and figure that will help hold it together. Hopefully that will reinforce it enough that it won't just disintegrate when it's in the quilt. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, so I pressed it a little bit first. Now I have it upside down because it's a little easier to see. And I've got the fusible with the wrong side facing the block. I can kind of see to center it on here, and then I'm just going to flip it over. And I'm going to use a pressing cloth just because this is delicate-ish. And I'm going to fuse this onto the fusible or onto the fleece.